Hello, I'm Jo Thomspon. I heard Ryan say Thompson related to Mike. That was actually
Thompson, and you need to be Thompson.
Well, I was Thompson. I used to play roller derby, and the idea is to have a really aggressive name, and so they called me Thompson because I'm also in Thompson. So yeah, I work at HarperCollins. I'm an editor here. I work at Borough Press, which published Imani Thompson's debut this year, and also at Hemlock Press, which published M.K. Oliver's. We have a whistle-stop 10 minutes with these upcoming talents. So to minimize me talking and maximize you guys talking, I'm going to ask you both to introduce yourselves and introduce your novels. Imani.
Hi, I'm Imani, and Honey is a novel about the sticky politics of race, gender, and violence, but told through the eyes of a serial killer. So when a PhD student at Cambridge accidentally murders a professor who's been having an affair with one of her friends, she's set up on a not always righteous path to rig the world of some of its bad men.
Yeah, don't let that pretty pink cover deceive you.
It's super cute.
Hello everyone, I'm MK Oliver, and before being a writer I was a teacher and a head teacher. So the last time I've had an audience like this before, they were very much there against their will. So it's fantastic that you're here because you want to be. My book is about a sociopathic mother who lives in North London, and I've read Imani's book as well, which is great, and she's a PhD student, and I imagine if the character from Imani's book got bored of living on an academic's wage and thought about how she would make the next steps in life, she might look at the world and say, what's the most pleasure I can get out of life for the least pain? And my character thinks, actually, that's a banker's wife. So she identifies a host, and in a parasitical way, she seduces, marries this man. And the book opens with her in this marriage in which she's trying to make it as a normal North London mother. But all of the things that obsess North London mothers, whether it's school places or better houses or career opportunities for their husbands, trigger her sociopathic tendencies. And so she manages to achieve things, but not in the fairest way possible. But she does manage to succeed.
Yeah, just two lovely ladies. And it does occur to me that I'm sat next to, I mean, not personally, but, you know, a psychopath and a sociopath. I wonder if you can talk a little bit about your characters. I mean, how do you see them, and what drove you to write these scary, scary ladies?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, the sociopath, psychopath.
Right.
One I was having with my mum's friends recently, and they were like, I think she's more of a sociopath because she is more reactionary to things, which is quite fascinating of her as a character. But I do love my main character, which I don't know if I should admit to loving her quite as much as I do. She's very sarcastic. She also enjoys the game playing, the manipulation of things, and she finds out in herself, absolutely love killing men.
Well, I think it's quite, you know, when I think about why do you write about a sociopath? First of all, the fun. So if you take a sociopath to a party, they're going to be glamorous, charismatic, and they're going to cause mayhem. So they're fantastic. Secondly, the next thing I think that's fantastic about a sociopath is the fact that they question some of the things that we perhaps take for granted. Now, there's supposed to be 1 in 10 people are sociopaths. Can I just show of hands? Just check this out. Just put your hand up if you are a sociopath.
This is the head teacher coming out. We should have done like a good morning, MK Oliver.
There's only 1, but well done. Now, if you haven't put your hand up, ask those closest to you who live with you whether it is you. But the sociopath is, you know, there's lots and lots of, I suppose, magazine questionnaires about, oh, you're a sociopath. We're all quite keen to know, is there an element in ourselves which is insincere? Are we as authentic as we believe ourselves to be? So it is an actually really interesting question about ourselves. So that's the second thing that makes sociopaths interesting. For me, being a teacher, I taught girls for many years, and one of the things that came up again and again is that girls tended to play really low-status games. Now, I don't say that this is of all girls, but they did. They tended to be, I don't know the answer to that, or, I'm not good enough, or et cetera, et cetera. So a sociopath allows you to show a female character who is absolutely empowered, feels no guilt and shame, and in some way that can make people feel empowered. So a sociopath is fun, charismatic, empowering, and it just makes me ask the question, why would you write about anyone else?
One also wonders if Oliver is running sort of a multi-level marketing scheme to recruit or to encourage sociopathy, which is, fine by me. I mean, I was going to ask sort of, I think it's quite a regular question, like how much of you is in your characters. It's quite a revealing question for you guys. But I wondered, especially being debuts, I mean, I know you've both had huge deals for your books, so deals in the US and the UK, around the world. But in the writing, what stretched you the most? What was the most out of your comfort zone part of putting together your novels and your characters?
For me, actually, it was writing a serial killer and a novel about a serial killer.
Okay. Imani's keen to emphasise that she's a really good person.
I know, maybe I should also say when my brother finished the book, he said, "Oh, so she's you?"
Yeah.
Terrible. But no, for me, it was a surprise that I came to this plot. And plotting in general, I think, is the thing that really stretched me in the thriller genre. You have to really think about those twists and the turns and who knows what when. And this took me quite a few drafts to really, and with the help of my wonderful editor, to really nail those things in the book. But I'm really pleased that I've had that class in plotting in the thriller genre.
I found commas quite difficult in writing. As an English teacher, you get to see an almost unbearable misuse of the comma to the point at which you're almost blind to it. And I feel now I'm sort of traumatized by that experience. And sort of every 7 words, I kind of panic and think, I'll have to throw in a pot. But unlike Imani, I found writing a manipulative, deceptive, destructive woman really easy. Second nature to me. And I don't know why that is. My book is completely in the first person as a sociopathic mother of 2 children. I'm none of those things, actually. But I did find it easy. When I first wrote the book, I did have a male character who was telling half the story. And I sent it to people out early, and they said, you're not very good at writing men. So I went with the strongest character. So I did find that strangely easy.
It's your alter ego.
It is, yeah. Killing people, net-a-porter.
I was going to say, it's interesting. I think we've obviously got a huge amount of crime fans in the audience, where we might also have some writers, some people who work on their own creative acts. How much did your books change from either what you thought they were going to be or the messy first draft into what they ended up with? I mean, I know a bit about what happened on Imani's journey, but I know that a lot of writing happens on your own when you have no faith yet that anybody is ever going to be your second reader.
Yeah, and a huge amount changed. I don't know for you. There were whole murders that were scrapped from the book and rewritten. And I think it's so true when people say that writing is rewriting. So constantly I'm editing every day when I go to the page. And then because of the wider plot issues, or sometimes someone would say something and I'd be like, oh, that's such a good idea. And now I need to change this. And then that means you have to go back and unpick and unravel things. But I just think that's the work. So it's joyful to do that side of things.
Some things stayed exactly the same, like the opening chapter, which was, I wrote one morning having breakfast with my wife, and I said, I'd done a course that was by Erin Kelly, actually. She did a very good course, and I'd been on her course, and I was thinking about how do I come up with a character for a psychological thriller. And my wife said, Muswell Hill Mummies haven't been done, which didn't lead to a psychological thriller, but to a comic thriller. But I wrote the first chapter just on that basis, and that stayed exactly the same. The rest of the plot, and when you talk about weaknesses, commas are a weakness. The other thing is following shiny new ideas that come up mid-plot. So you can plot your book, and then you get, at any way through, you can think, ooh, this could happen, and you head off in that direction like a philandering husband. You chase something, and by the time you come home, your entire plot is dead. So those chasing those little exciting plots really did cause a lot of damage. But sometimes you have to do them because sometimes there is gold at the end of those chases.
The right amount of flexibility, and the right amount of realizing you should delete that chapter the next day.
And I love deleting chapters. There's something so satisfying.
That's why you're the dream author. Yeah, that's why we have such a good relationship. I wanted to ask a last question, then we'll close out and move on to the next panel. The book's been out for a little while. I know you've both been interviewed before. You've met your readers. Is there any element of your book that you feel has sort of been under-discussed or that hasn't been brought out as much, or that you sort of think people would talk to you about and they don't?
Should I? I'm just the response when I wrote the book, and it was a completely, female-led narration. I thought, that will be one of the questions and issues, and it really hasn't been. People have just really enjoyed it, and they also enjoy short chapters. That's another thing readers enjoy, because everyone's tired at the end of the day. So I don't think it's that it hasn't been developed. I just think one of the things I reflect on is when I wrote the book, there was two things happening. I have to do this in a really short time. So there was Brexit, January 2020. And if you're in schools, March 2020 was COVID. Schools closed. At that point, people were nice. We reopened schools a bit later, and people weren't. Children were okay, actually. Social media had not destroyed them. But parents had become creatures who, it was as if they were still speaking to social media when they came into school. So part of the thing that I've never sort of spoken about in this book, for fear of offending my former parents, is the fact that those experiences of people being locked at home on social media, when they came back into reality, they hadn't switched back off. So they would, one morning I went into school and I had 43 phone calls from one parent.
Oh, golly gosh.
My PA said, would you like to speak to them? No, thank you. As kind as you are. So that idea that actually, although my character is sociopathic, what really interested me is normal people can become, unhinged because they don't spend enough time with real people. It's quite easy for that unbalance to happen even to normal people. So beware.
A lesson.
Yeah.
The one for me also on Unhinged is that the mum of my protagonist is quite an important character. And whilst people really do talk to me about her and the maternal line, there's a kind of subtle twist around her that I am surprised I haven't been asked more questions about. So probably this. And on my Instagram bio, I say that Honey is my memoir, and no one's really pulled me up on that.
I don't know if I'd noticed that. Okay, well, on a bombshell, I'm going to thank you both so much for coming up. Please buy their book. Please have a chat afterwards.
Thank you.